All right, let's begin the show. Recently, a 39-year-old media executive from Borivali was scammed by fraudsters posing as FedEx and police officials. But she was not alone. Every year, hundreds of thousands of individuals are falling prey to cyber fraud worldwide. On the ET Money Show, we will decode how the FedEx scam unfolded and how you can protect your personal and financial information. Let's welcome on board Ritesh Bhatia, Cybercrime Investigator and Cybersecurity Consultant. Ritesh, good evening. Welcome to the show. And we are going to talk about the FedEx scam today, which is latest in the list of scams, in the list of cybersecurity scams. You know, a lot of time when we have an interaction, you always come up saying that these kind of scams are on the rise, and every time you will see more innovation, in fact, from the fraudsters or scamsters. And this is something new, a FedEx scam. Please explain us, how was this conducted?
So, hi Kavita, thank you for having me on your show. So, Kavita, what happens over here is you will get a call. I mean, whether you have booked something, you are sending a courier or you're expecting a courier, it doesn't matter. What is going to matter over here is that you will randomly get a particular call, and then these guys are going to tell you that, look, I'm calling from a particular courier company. It could be any, just not FedEx. It could be any particular these large scale courier companies, and then they will tell you, look, you have sent, there's a parcel which has gone out in your name, and we intercepted that particular parcel, and in that parcel we found drugs, we found some passports, or they will tell you we found some currency, any such thing which is primarily like illegal to send. So, obviously you're going to panic. First, you're going to say like, look, I have not done it or something like that. And then immediately they will say, okay, this particular inspector is on the line. Let me connect you to the to the police station, and it's a hotline between us and the police station, and then they will just a man will come and he will start talking to you, rather also threatening you that, is this your Aadhaar number, is this your PAN card details, and somehow all these things are now like kind of available online also, with the vast data breaches that have happened. And this is one reason that companies also need to understand that when the data breaches happen from their end, how it helps these criminals to get more creative and misuse those documents and then scam we citizens who are like completely innocent. We've just not done anything as such. So again, so coming back to the modus operandi, Kavita, the police inspector will then say, like, look, there are some bank accounts that have opened in your name. There are some SIMs that have been procured from the telecom operators, and now you'll also have to pay a penalty. We are going to get you arrested, blah blah. And somebody will actually panic, and then they'll say, look, I don't want to go to a police station. Like in this case, she said, like, I have a baby and all. So somebody will say, look, I don't want to go to the police station, or I don't want police to come home. So please tell me. So they will say, okay, let us do one thing. Why don't you pay this particular penalty online? And this is how you start getting scammed. And this is now happening very frequently. Although up till now, I have come across 4 cases, but then 4 is not small. I feel it's just the tip of the iceberg. And that's why I say, like, this is one of the latest things. And I'm hearing a lot many people getting these calls, and like at least 70% of them are falling for the trap. Like earlier, before this, something super hit was the electricity scam, which, like, you and I had like done a sting operation on it also. Now after that, I am seeing if something like this is going to become big, it is going to be this particular courier scam. So this is the modus operandi, and then they also try to make it sound very real. Like there will be some sounds you will hear as if they are talking on the wireless. But guys, please understand, this is just it's just a setup. It's just an audio that's being played. So you will feel as if, yes, the person is a cop. He will speak in a particular language. Let's say, they'll say, I'm calling from Bombay. So you will hear him speaking in Marathi with somebody else, and that somebody else will keep saying, yes, इनके साथ ऐसा हुआ है, इनका ये भी है, इनके नाम पे मतलब सिम भी ले लिया, इनके नाम पे बैंक अकाउंट भी हो गया है, यही इनका आधार नंबर है. They will keep saying like that, and from the background you will also hear a lot of the real kind of sounds that you get when you go into a police station, like somebody talking on the wireless or some sound of noise. So all this will keep happening. But at the end of it, please understand all this is fake. It's just a setup. The moment you tell them that, okay, fine, if you think I have done this, let me be a honest citizen and let me be a good citizen and go to the police station and I will register a complaint. The moment you say this, they hang up the phone. Kavita.
So clearly, Ritesh, we can see that the Jamtara model is not confined to being a Netflix series. The kind of innovation and the twist in the plot that's coming up is new every time. I want to understand
Yes.
from you. I'm sure, there must be some loopholes, as you just highlighted, how this entire modus operandi is conducted and how the things happen. I'm sure a citizen needs to be slightly more aware and acknowledge the fact that, for example, in this case, if they've used something like a narcotics angle in it, a person should also be aware about it. I'm sure they take advantage of the vulnerability and the fact that a person is scared, and the entire name shame thing that a person carries along with them. What could be those loopholes which you can catch and identify that it's maybe a thing that's being used against you, and maybe you are a victim of cybercrime?
So see, Kavita, so firstly, these people are going to use techniques of, one is about the haste. They'll put you in that particular pressure that you need to do this quickly. They're not going to allow you to give time also or anything. Second thing is the fear that this can happen to you. You can get arrested. Your family name will get spoiled. So these are the two things when they will try to, like, put a lot of pressure on you by using these two techniques. So we need to be careful about that. Secondly, now when we come to the loopholes, let's understand, like, from the numbers that they're calling, how are they getting these numbers? Because when the police goes to try trace these numbers, then this person is calling from somewhere, but then the number is procured from somewhere else. So I'm telling you, it's a major lapse on behalf of our intermediaries. So by intermediaries, for example, I mean, like, how did this guy get this particular number? Now, when you go to those telecom operators, who are the intermediaries in this case, and ask them, like, whom have you issued? And, if you look at the KYC thing, they might have done the KYC. They've issued a particular number also. But now this same SIM card is then being sold to people like these, whether they are in Jamtara or the new hubs, which is in Mathura, Mewat, Bharatpur, which is in Rajasthan, the Odisha, West Bengal. These are now the new Jamtaras. So here they are, like, paying a lot of money to get, like, SIM cards. And hence, I feel somewhere the re-KYC is also very important. That once you have issued it, you surely have a technology to understand whether it is being used in the same area or not. So that is one loophole, I would say, from the intermediary. Now, second thing, as you rightly said, that these guys come up with very innovative methods. Like, even I never thought about it, that they will come up with something like this. So we really don't know what is the next one that they're going to come up with. But when we are doing so much of digitalization, I think the push now should also be on grievance redressal, which is not happening. For suppose this lady has lost that 2 to 3 lakh rupees, there needs to be a mechanism
Rightly
wherein she
pointed
can.
out. Yeah, I was just coming on that because it's rightly pointed out, that these scamsters and fraudsters are just getting innovative. So a lot of awareness is needed, and redressal, obviously, there has to be some kind of a campaign, or maybe I just want to understand, even in this case, now you're telling me that you have come across at least 4 of such cases so far. What's the amount against which the victims have been duped, and also in terms of complaints, and in terms of reaching out to the cyber cell, what type of actions have been taken so far to protect the interest of the victim? What has been done?
So see, in this particular case, I don't know, because she's not my victim. So we clearly see that she's lost around about 2 lakh rupees. In another case, I know that this particular person lost 1.5 lakh. The third one, she didn't lose anything. Now the fact was that she had access to me. She immediately called me and she said something like, this is happening. And the moment I said that, okay, I will go to my local police station and complain, they hung up on the phone. The fourth thing also happened with the media person. Now, she also, like, she takes my quotes for her news articles. So she called me that, Ritesh, something like this is happening. I said, immediately call up the police station or just go over there and, just tell them that something like this is happening. Now, this is what I'm saying, Kavita. As far as the police action is concerned, I see that these guys have the intent, but again, they need that kind of help from the intermediaries. So the police would want to, like, block these numbers. The police would want to block those bank accounts, and that is so. This is something I know for sure that they want to do it. And the moment they get a complaint, they do it. They contact the nodal officers, and the nodal officer tries to freeze that amount also. Suppose if this, so it's very important that the moment you feel you've been scammed, you need to dial up 1930. That is number one. You need to rush to your police station and request him to call up the nodal officer of the bank where the money has not, where the money has gone. So let's say if you are banking with HDFC and your money, somehow you can trace it and you can make it out, okay, you gave that money to somebody, let's say in ABC Bank. So the police needs to call up that the nodal officer of ABC Bank and tell him to freeze that particular amount.
Calling up at 1930 and calling up the bank, you think the support system is enough for a person to track these kind of fraudsters?
See, as I told you, the loopholes are there in the KYC system itself. They do so. These are the mule accounts, which means these guys will, like, the fraudsters. They are going to go and ask somebody. Let's say it could be a rickshaw puller or an auto driver, and tell him, like, look, I'm going to give you certain percentage of whatever money comes. Can I use your account? So that's called as a mule account. So they use the mule account of the particular person as such. So now this is one big loophole, and hence a re-KYC is extremely important. And with the banks using artificial intelligence, they can clearly make out that whatever sum is coming in, whatever amount is coming in, is something quite varying, because you can see the spikes. For example, if you are getting a particular package every month, you know that this is the only, your bank can make out, okay, from between the 1st to 7th, this is the salary that you're getting, and that's the only thing that you're getting, or maybe a little. But suddenly it sees that, okay, 80,000 has come, then 1 lakh has come, and it's coming and going, coming and going. So those spikes which are created, bank can actually monitor and find out that what are these fraudulent transactions taking place, and hence it's important that they do a re-KYC, or they call up that particular person and ask him, like, what are you doing that with your account? I mean, that also happens with me. My bank always calls me when the moment I get any funds from from offshore, from outside India, and I have to comply with the RBI regulations. So probably RBI needs to step in, understand these spikes, and maybe then these banks need to call up these people who would be getting only, let's say, 10,000 a month, and suddenly they see 80,000 coming in, and within that 1 minute also going out.
Earlier, you were also talking about the entire grievance mechanism that needs to be worked on. Apart from 1930, how do you think we can help the victims, or maybe help people become more aware against these cyber crimes?
See, with the modus operandi changing on a daily basis, with innovations coming, happening almost every week with the newer kind of scams, I don't think so it's fair on the part of a citizen also to stay, like, so much updated about, okay, what new is this happening now? Now, for example, this FedEx scam is there. How many people are we going to reach and talk about? But here, I have seen this, that scams are going to be varied, they're going to be innovative, they're going to be different. And hence, the only two things that you can do is, number one, pause. That's one tool that you need to download in your head. Pause for a while, think, what is this? And then second thing is verify. Just verify what it is. Is it really somebody calling from FedEx? Is this somebody really you're speaking to the police? Because how can a courier company have a direct hotline with a cop? So those are the red flags which are there. So in this era of internet and the digitalization of everything, of every process, trust is something that you cannot have in the cyberspace. I mean, if there's something that's you really anyone calling you, even if it's your known one, I think it's time that you need to verify whether it is the other person or not. So like you just can't believe what you hear, what you see, what you read, what whom you talk to. Everything needs to be verified, Kavita.
All right, I think we've discussed this as much as we can, but then, as you rightly mentioned, these scams are being innovative. And while I was just going to the FedEx scam, I also realized there are some MasterCard, PayPal, UPS, Visa, Apple, Amazon type of scams also which are floating around. So maybe what one can do is, as you also mentioned earlier, it's very difficult. We can't really expect a person to be completely in tune with whatever is happening, but it's important to understand and connect the dots and maybe know the loopholes, when you are a fraudster is calling you, or maybe you could be a victim of cybercrime. So a lot of thing depends on the person and the way they manage their safety, and especially their online safety. That's very important and crucial. So all we can request people is to just note down the places where they can complain if at all they are a victim of this, and how they can be more aware and upbeat about this. Thank you so much, Ritesh, for being on the show and helping our viewers with this latest scam that's going around.
Thank you so much.
On that note, we'll take a short break, but then